Good morning, Celise. How are you doing today? Oh Jesus, the cam! Oh my God, the cam is all fucked up. I just realized, Jesus, I look like I'm in a fucking microwave right now. Hold up, how do I fix this? Oh, better. That's I don't look like I got cooked in a fucking microwave. Alright. Y'all hear that new Niji Sanji drama? Y'all hear the new fucking drama? I didn't cook. It wasn't me that predicted it. It was everyone else online that was predicting it. So it's not my words. It's their words. But still, they cooked. They cooked. Selena's gone. Now, Rima Even Star's gonna make a video on it. And I'm sure Depressed Nosagi already made a video on it. Man, oh man, oh man. What? Can I just please? I want to react to it. I want to make a video. I want to cover VTuber drama on my main channel, dude. Hello, Heavenly Demon. But if I cover VTuber drama on my main channel, if I speak bad of corpo VTubers, speak bad of corpo VTuber orgs, I'll never get it. The Atsu drama? Yo. For the past month, you got no clue. All I did yesterday was just listen to like 3-hour VODs of Asmongold fucking stream, MTash stream, Tectone stream. I've just been watching so much. Here, let me show you my watch history, okay? Let me show you my watch history, alright? Look at this shit. That's Genshin Guide, that's Genshin Guide. That's Honkai Star, right here we go. 23 minutes, MTash video. 3 hours and 17 minutes drama of the year video. What's the other one? Oh, apparently Aiden Ross got scammed 250k from 21 Savage, and then he got scammed 2 million yesterday from Playboy Cardi. Where's the other drama video that I was watching, huh? Oh yeah, the 2-hour 21-minute video from Tectone. Yo, these drama videos are straight up like podcasts to me. You understand? I have this shit on the side. It plays on like a second monitor. It's like a fucking podcast. So I just listen to that while I play like Honkai Star Rail or Genshin Impact. It's been so spicy recently, bro. This is so much fucking drama, dude. I always knew, for the record, I was always on Bald Man's side. Listen, love him or hate him, Tectone, yes, he's a dick. But I still love him, and I love this new Road to Redemption. Ratsu, I always had a bad feeling about that Asian guy, man. And I'm not saying Asian guy is a racist way. His literal name is the Asian guys, so... Oh, also, guys, look. My video finally passed the review. Let's title it, "This video is late." Sung Jin Woo's abs made this video late. Skull emoji. Crying emoji. Man, my channel's been just tanking so hard because the recent fuck up with the premieres and doing slime. And like the fact that this video even itself got fucking flagged with the, what's it called? It got fucking flagged with the limited ads. I have to get a manual review. Now I'm like fucking 2 days late on this. I'm so fucked. Well, when it rains, it pours, man. And right now it is fucking pouring. But at the very least, we're making some progression. Now, where's the thumbnail I was gonna use for this? Where's the thumbnail I was gonna use for this? Ah! Sung drip woo. Alright, save this. Save this. And now, we should be fine, right? Refresh this one more time. Refresh this one more time. We're good. So stupid, dude. Like, what was the point of flagging this fucking video for fucking limited ads if you're just gonna fucking pass them the manual one? Your fucking automated system's broken. It's fucking bullshit. I'll release this video after this stream today. But while we do that, there's some videos that we can definitely watch. Any News didn't come up with a new video, right? No, there's always this Indian channel that gets recommended. No, not you. I'm talking about this Any News. You can release it while it's flagged, but what it does is you don't get any money off it because it's limited ads. When you get the yellow dollar icon, there's no ad revenue you get. And on top of that, it also fucks with the algorithm in terms of the viewership, right? So I don't want to fuck around right now when we're already so fucked. It's better to just wait it out instead of trying to rush it out with the limited ad. I did see Baseless UPenn's new video. Yep, I did see that one. We're gonna watch that later. Solo Leveling episode 5 reviews. Is there anything else that I should be watching? Have we seen this one? Solo Leveling in a nutshell?
Solo Leveling in a nutshell. Yo,
No, I don't think we've seen this one yet. I honestly don't know if Baseless UPenn is in my fucking Discord or not because people are so fucking quick with his videos. And sometimes there is a guy named like, what's his name? It's like Baylor or something. Sometimes he links the fucking Baseless UPenn videos. I'm like, are you him? Is that you? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. But what should we do? Well, there's this really interesting video that I actually wanted to check out.
The show that has
This one actually looks kind of interesting to me. Does Solo Leveling look good? Animation breakdown. This is actually like an educational video.
Solo Leveling.
It could actually teach me some buzzwords to talk about when I'm talking about the animation quality.
The show Solo
Okay.
Leveling. The show that's Solo Leveling.
Stop! Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Does Solo Leveling look good? Animation breakdown looks like it's an educational video from Probably Pretentious. Let's check out what he has to say.
Solo Leveling, the show that has taken the world by storm. In fact, the first episode is the most liked episode on Crunchyroll.
What? It's the most liked video on Crunchyroll? But it was so... I don't want to say mid. I love Solo Leveling. We glaze Solo Leveling up on this channel, but you can pretty much agree with me that, you know, I thought episode 2 might be the most liked video, but I guess it's from the initial hype, right? I can believe this. It's got the most likes not because the episode was good, but because holy shit, finally Solo Leveling is out. Get hyped. You know, I think that's the reason why it has the most likes.
I'm not making this up, it actually is. The manhwa is known for its jaw-dropping art and large-scale fights. Translating these aspects into an animated form must have been challenging. Let's talk about Solo Leveling. Make sure to subscribe. Before we talk about the episodes, let's go over the staff. Atsushi Kaneko is the
Atsushi Kaneko, animation producer affiliated with A1 Pictures. This bald, also bald. But this guy is like the Mr. A1 Pictures
producer, meaning he is responsible for the logistical aspect and the
Logistics.
talent gathering process.
Okay.
Prior to Solo Leveling, he worked on Sword Art Online. He was the animation producer for the Ordinal Scale movie and Alicization. And
That's like huge roles, right?
these two titles are quite relevant.
Yeah.
Nearly every episode director and storyboard artist who has worked on Solo Leveling so far also worked on those SAO projects, including series director Shunsuke Nakashige and action director Yoshihiro Kanno.
That guys, they're faceless, but okay, these are like huge titles. Now, I'm not gonna be able to remember their name. There's a guy named Shunsuke and Yoshihiro, but these are like huge names for A1 Pictures.
You know who else worked on those shows? Tetsuya Takeuchi and Nozomu Abe.
This is Fate, right?
Fingers crossed. I'm not too familiar with director Nakashige's catalog, but I do love his work on SAO. Yoshihiro Kanno is the action director, and he is insanely good. His contribution to SAO was ridiculous, and more recently, he did God's work on the first core of Bleach TYBW.
These are
Having
huge
a
titles,
name like
man.
that associated with Solo Leveling is extremely reassuring. Alright, the preamble is over. Let's go through the episodes. Generally speaking, the anime is aesthetically similar to the manhwa, minus those
Are
red
they?
noses. The anime
The red noses. I guess the webtoons sometimes have
similar
those.
to the
Let's see.
manhwa.
Sometimes the red noses, it's a little bit more like, it's like a red aura around the nose. I don't know why they do that sometimes. though.
Minus those red noses. The anime follows the design and color philosophies of the source material, which is fine. Don't fix what isn't broken. The first episode opened up with a flashy action scene, which is the best thing they could have done. The scene features a ton of hand-drawn monsters, a recurring theme. Takafumi Tori's sequence was the
Imagine they started this fucking episode off with a CGI ant fight. Nah, you would have been, that's just suicide. You would never do that.
highlight. His signature energetic animation is pure eye candy. It opens up with a smooth camera pan, followed by a large amount of background animation and competent camera work. Not only does the camera rotate, the perspective changes from a high-angle shot to a low-angle one.
I do enjoy it when the camera angle changes when you're doing the action sequences. Interesting, okay.
The camera work was really good throughout. You can see the sky illustration rotate as this guy comes down, which adds to the motion. We get this cool looking impact frame sequence.
Yes, I always love it in anime whenever it's just like black and white like this and you can see all these different lines to kind of like exaggerate the things happening.
At the end, with this guy tearing through them, which is such a fun idea. This sequence
right here single-handedly captured the hearts of many fans across the world that doesn't even know Solo Leveling. I think this seems the most replayed scene in Solo Leveling.
animated by main animator Hirokatsu Maruyama was
Hirokatsu Maruyama, thank you, the GOAT, for showing us Chahein's Gyat months before this anime even aired.
another highlight. Incredible storyboard.
Incredible storyboarding, absolutely agreed. True.
Incredible indeed.
Incredible indeed, I agree, absolutely.
Also, look how complicated this angle is. Not
Does it look complicated? Hold up, let's see. Yeah. It is kind of all over the place. She is doing like a front backflip shit right now. The angles are all over the place. The camera's like going from above, yeah.
how complicated this angle is. Not only is her movement difficult to draw, these faces also needed to change perspectives.
This NPC's face took that much dedication to draw. Yeah, I guess. Look at him, his face, right?
Perspectives.
It's gotta keep like rotating perfectly as it's kind of like looking at her.
It's an unorthodox cut in terms of composition, and
Okay.
it was executed really well.
Yes,
the
thank
first
you.
episode also featured a short sequence animated by action director Yoshihiro Kanno, and you can tell it's him based on the timing and the effect shapes. His
Oh, yo. The fucking laser beam that incinerated this guy's skeleton.
Kanno, and
Look
you
at
can
this
tell
shit.
it's him based on
This is so cool. Whoa, this is like the draft of it, huh?
the timing and the
Oh my god, here it
effect
is.
shape.
Boom. Oh my, the bone. Yo. So I guess this is how, like, I don't know. Obviously, you're not gonna just get the full product right away. There's like stages of like from getting drawn to all the color and blah blah blah, all the stuff that I don't know about. But this is pretty cool to see like the draft of what it looks like before it gets fully finished.
Shapes. His animation is very energetic, but not exactly in a Kannada-like manner. They do make excellent use of anticipation, although these cuts rely more on the effects. His effects animation can be somewhat shape-oriented, occasionally
Basically, he's like the anime beam guy.
having these
Yeah, look at
circular
this.
or oval particles. Kanno's effects are really satisfying to look at. The second episode gave us a good look at the statues, and they are 2D. The compositing team
Imagine if it was CGI statues. It would have been GG.
added some strong textures to them, which looked decent. This sequence, animated by Fasto, was quite impressive. Any cut that shows the entire body is commendable because the animator needs to keep track of the overall anatomy. The start of this cut makes it look like a regular side profile shot, but it zooms in, changes perspective,
And you can see the-
rotates, turning into
Right.
this low angle
And you can see like the height of the statue that's relative to Sung Jin-woo's body the entire time while the camera like transitions.
shot which gets the scale across. Also, how do you make this foot feel heavy? By adding a bunch of wind effects.
Yeah, all you have to do is just like add these like white little ring things and it makes it look like it's more impactful.
Which makes the motion
like
feel
there.
large. The second episode also featured Yoshihiro Kanno as an animation director, and his influence is quite apparent. This cut, for example, has that satisfying timing and oval effect shapes I talked about.
This guy is basically the master of oval laser beams. Okay, got it.
Also love the colors. Of course, most of it is blue. That's their color of choice for the dungeon scenes.
One little thing that I don't like is the fact that the colors are so dark and blue. Now, in terms of like making a thumbnail, because when you make a thumbnail, you want like bright, vibrant colors, preferably with like bright green or blue in the background. Now, this is obviously a very minor, trivial, hyper focused problem that only a small percentage of people have, but it's just my little complaint.
For the dungeon scenes, but the orange flames provide that much needed contrast. I was really surprised by how visceral and graphic this sequence was. They are not pulling any punches, which is great. Of course, not all of it was perfect. This cut, for example, looks quite weak. Sung's arms appear
Even like some of the goblin fights, it looked a little weak, but I'm not sure that's too big of a problem.
to be stuck in that coat hanger position. The final scene was really cool in concept and solid in execution. This is an ambitious cut with changes in both the perspective
Whoa.
and proximity coupled with complex
I
background.
always love it when the camera like pans out, like from within to out like this. This is like a perfect example, right? You can feel you go from like Sung Jin-woo's face and you pan all the way out to the statue to show like the depth of the
In
situation.
both the perspective and proximity coupled with complex background animation. The start looks a bit janky. Sung isn't exactly in sync with the ground underneath him, but overall this was a solid effort. Also again, how do you make the movement of the statues feel
The white steam, the wind, the steam emanating from the weapon, yes.
heavy by adding a ton of wind effects?
Yeah.
The third episode is quite interesting as well. It opens up with this insane drawing. The uncanny amount of detail on the teeth makes it look more graphic.
The teeth? I guess the shadow part effect of it. Yeah, I guess so. I never realized that though. Okay.
They reanimated this scene. I just talked about how impressive it was, but they decided to redo it. Fair enough. Storyboard wise, it's similar, but quicker. The episode was very well directed. They played around with the saturation and depth of field at one point. We get another competently animated low angle
The
shot,
centipede
which
scene.
gets the scale across. And again, 2D monsters. No CGI inside.
Still no CGI yet. Will they slip up? Are they ever gonna show a CGI? Because like if they do, you know people are gonna fucking bitch about it. I don't think there has been a CGI monster just yet, but keep an eye out for that.
Neat effect here. The background appears to be animated, but
Yeah, but the sand, I guess, kind of like the little black shades here moving downwards.
technically speaking, it's not. Only these dark shades
Yeah,
move.
that's a very smart way to kind of make it look like he's moving with these dark shades in the sand without the actual sand moving.
The rest is a single color with textures added on top. This sequence was the highlight. I've talked about
Okay, this goblin fight, It was kind of goofy, but it was very fluid. It was kind of slow to obviously show that it's a fucking small goblin fight and Sung Jin was still weak, but it was very fluid.
First off, we can see Sung's entire body. Secondly, these cuts are long, meaning the animator had to take into account the anatomy, staging, and weight distribution for several seconds at a time. There's no hiding behind close-ups.
If I was the animator for this scene, I'd be like, yo, who gives a fuck? It's a goblin fight, but they have to put so much effort into something as minor as this?
Quick cuts here. Nakagawa had to animate the entire body. Incredibly impressive. They managed to tell a story through the visuals. Sung isn't an experienced fighter, but he can keep up with the goblins. Later on, we see this wolf pounce, and when it does, it jumps around from one side to another, obviously trying to confuse its prey. Incredible attention to detail. The final rotation was really solid as well. It made good use of a 3D background. The fourth episode was really good.
Good use of a 3D background.
It made good use of,
I guess, the way that the camera was all rotating around
was really solid as well. It made,
like right now, the way that's a rotating background.
Good use of a 3D background. The fourth episode was really good, although the first half wasn't exactly worth writing home about, because,
I mean, it's just random power leveling scenes, right? It's between a fucking, who cares, right? It's just you know, you're just power leveling goblins and Lycans. I didn't really expect much. I mean, they obviously saved all the budget for the Kasuga fight, and then the little extra for that, you know, flex on the golem.
At the end of the day, this is not a full Sakuga show. Not every fight.
Sakuga show, isn't Sakuga like the term in anime when animation budgets are extremely min-maxed, right? Some scenes are just gonna get super quality animation and other scenes are just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Will be well animated. It will use limited animation, stock backgrounds, and speed lines. This fight did have a few impressive cuts, but overall, it wasn't exactly a Sakuga fest. Some scenes were limited, aka the same few frames were looped over. Again,
I mean, they're random mobs, right? That's like a power leveling phase. I totally don't really care about, you know, I think it's smart to kind of reuse some of those frames to kind of just like save the resources so you can focus on like the main stuff that's about to happen.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way anime productions work.
Okay, the Lycan and like this scene right here, the Lycan as well as kind of this scene, pretty much the same. I see the Black Shadow Resin. I don't even remember this dude. It's like a fucking panther. All right, I think this is glossed over. This is like fucking like what happened within the matter of 3 seconds.
Wrong with that. That's just the way anime productions work. I did like the general atmosphere. They created this fantasy-like vibe thanks to the art direction. The second half, however, was amazing. You could tell right off the bat that this fight would look good. The camera work here is really dynamic.
Oh,
the
yes.
background is obvious.
I did really like it. Like right now, where Sung gets hit, and the camera kind of goes like to the side view, just to kind of, it like rotates with the hit, if you know what I'm saying, like this.
3D.
Boom.
I'm pretty sure this entire fight is storyboarded by Yoshihiro Kanno, and it's brilliant. There's this uncanny smoothness to the snake's movement, which looked great. Also, once again, 2D monsters. The fight was really dynamic.
Still 2D because they can't afford to do CGI. If they do that, so many people would make videos like, is solo leveling over? Is this the end of solo leveling? Is this the beginning of the end of solo leveling? I can't believe solo leveling did this. You know, imagine all the different YouTube videos people will be making just because of one CGI scene.
Making heavy use of 3D backgrounds and creatively utilizing the entire area. They had so many cool ideas. Sung getting thrown around was really well animated. Unlike that one cut,
bro, he got tossed around like a fucking ragdoll.
From episode 2, you could see his body
look at him
ragdolling around and
straight
interacting
up
with the ground.
He looks like a fucking dummy doll in like a fucking, what's it called? What's the word? A dummy doll that's used in like a car whenever a car is like used to like crash into something to see if it will survive or not.
Smooth looking cuts. It's really impressive. Look at the desperation in his body language here. Perfectly done. Of course, it wasn't flawless. One of the biggest issues I had with this fight was how out of place the smoke looked. Look at these clouds and
the smoke below. It was such a minor detail that I didn't even recognize.
Tell me they blend in. The blurring doesn't help either. The comp on the smoke isn't the best. However, the overall compositing was nice. The glow and flares from the sparks provided some much needed contrast to these otherwise blue heavy cuts. The action animation steps up a notch here. And it's not just the action. Look how strong the drawings are. They manage to convey
Strong the drawings. I guess how bold it is. Just kind of just like showing the sorry, the anger from Sung Jin-woo's face.
the intensity. Also, notice how the entire body of the snake moves, not just the head. This is one of my favorite.
Honestly, I'm such a monkey. I'm such an amateur when it comes to like noticing these animation differences that I can't even appreciate this. Like the fact that the entire snake's body is in frame, it's all kind of moving in synchro rather than just the head moving. I don't know. Maybe I've just been so used to trash, like isekai CGI trash, that like I can't even appreciate these scenes like that. Like that's what happens when you're just fed slop all the time and you're like, oh, okay.
Not just the
We're basically we're McDonald's enjoyers in a fucking 5-star Michelin restaurant review right now.
head. This is one of my favorite cuts from this episode. The camera tracks the back of the snake while the 3D background moves around. The snake itself isn't moving.
Huh. The 3D background is moving at the same time. Huh.
But we know it's in motion because the background is moving relative to it. Similarly, Sung is moving
Guess they could have had just a shitty still frame.
as well in the opposite direction. Reminds me of Yutaka Nakamura's cut from
Frieren.
Frieren. The scene doesn't end there. Sung regains his footing and glides all over the snake. The snappy timing and the wild background animation makes this cut a bit hard to follow, but me thinks it's intentional as it slows down in the next cut. Look how smooth this is. It's animated on ones and the inside of the mouth has a ton of detail.
Yes, the inside of the snake Gussie definitely has a lot of details right
The
now.
mouth has a ton of detail. I can't get over how good the drawings are. They look so intense and powerful with these vivid facial expressions. This sequence was animated by Takafumi Tori and it was followed by Yoshihiro Kanno's work. Love the perspective here. Sung's hand is closer to the camera and is therefore larger than anything else on screen. The creature animation was wonderful as well. It went from that creepy, calculated smoothness to this frantic motion. As we near the end, the energy steps up again. How do you make this already intense scene feel even more visceral? By
don't know.
adding these
Ah, right. Just changing the animation like style back to this like, I don't know. It looks a lot more bold, right? The lines and everything changed here.
lines, which serve as both line work and speed lines. They look so good. All of these elements come together in this cut, with the frantic body language, the thick lines, and the 3D background, creating this insane bit of animation. Wonderful work by Kanno. Later into the episode, we get this
My
2D
favorite scene.
golem. Again, they are not using CGI for the monsters. Take
This is one part where they could have used CGI because I guess it's not important, but they still did, and they still didn't.
that as you will. And that just about does it. Solo Leveling is not a full Sakuga show. It has a few issues here and there. Some of the animation is limited, some of the drawings are weak, but overall, it's a good looking show with
Yeah.
some incredible highlights. Really excited for what's to come. That's about it. Did
Now, give Mr. Probably Pretentious a sub, like his videos if you did, support his channel. This is a very different type of video than what we're used to. We usually would just watch like anime lore, but I don't know, this animation style stuff, it goes way over my head because I am just a simple monkey at the end of the day, but a lot of people are saying how much better Solo Leveling could have been if this is by like Studio Ufotable. And that's like a show, that's like a studio that does like Demon Slayer and Fate series, right? That looks really pretty. I don't know, I feel like A1 Pictures is doing a pretty goddamn good job, at least in my opinion anyways. Aren't we all monkeys? Yes, we are all monkeys. We are all monkeys and I am your monkey king. Alright. What is this one? Why is this in my video list?
So in this video, I want to talk about Moonlit
Moonlit Fantasy. Should you watch?
Fantasy, as this is one of my
I'd be down to watch a video on this just randomly. Sure, fuck it. I don't care. Give me it. I'm bored. I'm just gonna fucking farm some videos on anything. The Discord link, huh? You want the Discord link? No, I'm not gonna give it to you now. You better make it to the end of the stream. I will drop my Discord link later.
So in this video, I want
Okay, 3, 2, 1. This is what peak isekai looks like. Skimichi Moonlit Fantasy. Should you watch? I'm sure you've already watched if you're already here, but Espiritu Analysis got a video for us.
So in this video, I want to talk about Moonlit Fantasy, as this is one of my favorite isekai series out there. And again, I don't have like a tier list where I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as far as like what's my like favorite.
We just recently caught up on Skimichi Moonlit Fantasy, and I think watching Slime before this show gave me the fact there are so much similarities because Slime took inspiration from Skimichi Moonlit Fantasy. For example, like, I don't know, Veldora and Tomoe, pretty much the same person, right? There's a lot of different similarities in between the show because, again, Slime did take inspiration from Skimichi Moonlit Fantasy. That made me think that the show was like kind of the same, so it didn't really speak out to me until episode 10, 11, 12 and beyond, and at that point I was just taken away.
I have like a tier system where I got like my SS tier, kind of like these are my favorite isekais, and Moonlit Fantasy has always been one of those because I find the concept very interesting.
And let me tell you about the concept. Apparently season 1 of Moonlit Fantasy was literally the prologue. It's like tutorial. That shit didn't matter. It did matter, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not the main story. In season 2, right now, we just started, and apparently it's 2 cores, right? So technically, we don't even know. Like, we're not even into, like, the bulk of the story just yet. We're, like, just getting started.
Of a main protagonist that has kind of been, like, shunned by the goddess herself, kind of system of being like, oh, you're ugly, I'm gonna throw you to the demons. Now you're kind of like the anti-hero. Like, you're not the bad guy, but you're not also perceived as the good guy either.
Sometimes I'm wondering, I'm like, are we the bad people? It's like, okay, we got sent here, but there's no mission to slay the demon lord because the goddess thought that we're so fucking ugly, right? So we're just chilling, but sometimes these villagers like perceives us, like the humans, like when we get to the first like human village, they literally perceive Makoto as some kind of like demon king because he has so much sinister aura behind him that he had to lock away. And then we proceeded to just like level that entire village, right? And the more the show develops, the more I realize that the humans are pretty trash. They're all just beautiful people that are very superficial and vain. Well, at least not all of them, but that's how the goddess kind of wants the humans to be like, right? So sometimes I'm thinking, are we the bad people? Are the humans the bad people? Bad is just relative. I think that their prejudice and the way that they look down on the demi-humans is pretty cruel, but Makoto is basically forming like a nation, like a sanctuary. Kind of like how Rimuru does with the Jura Tempest, right? Gathering all the monsters and making sure that the other humans kind of see us as perhaps equals.
Either you're kind of just making do with what you've got and a really messed up system, and this goddess is kind of manipulating the board and kind of using him as a tool to do whatever she wants. And with second season coming out, which is going to be double cores, so 24 or so
2
episodes,
cores, baby.
It's going to be 25 episodes, back-to-back episodes, so 6 months of Moonlit Fantasy.
No split core, let's go.
I'm super excited about it. I really, really am excited to see.
A lot of people are very upset about the introduction of these 2 new heroes and how they spent 2 episodes on investing that. Like, I don't understand why people are so upset about it. I thought this is one of the most fascinating episodes, but because people just want to see Makoto doing Makoto things, they can't appreciate spending a little detour on 2 other disciples of the goddess, which are crucial to the overall story. I felt like all those episodes did was enhance the story, make me more immersed, create the world building, kind of show a different perspective of the different things happening before Makoto got summoned by the goddess. I thought it just made everything even better. But most people were just fucking crying in my videos saying, oh my god, Skimichi Moonlit Fantasy is over. I can't believe they're doing this. Like, shut the fuck up.
See where the story goes, because I think the first season was phenomenal. The opening song is great, the ending
Nothing can beat season 1 opening.
song is great, the animations were great, the characters were great, the pacing was great. Like, everything about it to me was really good. Like, it's everything I would hope for as far as an isekai goes. And I know a lot of people don't. This is the thing about isekais, is that it kind of gets treated like the junk food of the anime.
Yeah, it does, because there's so much of it. Do you know why there's so much isekai though? Because it's a very compelling genre. People love it. And it almost has like a starter template, you know? Like, you know, it's like, okay, main character is virgin, weeb, neat, otaku, hikikomori, just shonen, you know, all that shit, bitchless, fat, ugly, blah, 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 gets hit by a truck, gets reincarnated into a different world, gets a new power, slays a demon lord, or they can be summoned instead. You know, there's already like a set established meta and a template that you can just kind of work with to kind of get that shit started immediately without having to worry about like proper intro, setup, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like a very simple template that you can just use to just like get an immediate start on the isekai, on like the anime. And a lot of people, because they love isekai, they can just go with it, right?
Sort of genres or themes and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people out there that just hate isekais purely because of the concept itself. They would prefer it to be a fantasy. But I like how they've...
Nah, there's isekai and then there's native isekai, okay? It's not fantasy, it's native isekai.
Done this isekai kind of world. And the second season, even with 2 episodes out, proves why I love it being an isekai itself. Because there are many isekais out there where I've just sat there and said it shouldn't be an isekai, it should just be a power fantasy. Because there's many...
Why not both? Why can't an isekai be a power fantasy?
Situations where you get a main protagonist, he gets transported to an alternative world, it's a 5-minute introduction about his past life, and that's...
Dude, that 5-minute introduction is so fucking important, though. I swear to God. Like, the first, like... And here's the thing about episode 1 of Isekais. That episode 1 is probably one of the most important in terms of the plot and all the important shit that'll happen in the future, right? Because, like, I'll give you an example. Like, in Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy... Like, as soon as we're summoned by the goddess, it's like, oh, we were from Earth, but apparently there's an Earth god, you know, the god that actually gave us the powers, versus the goddess that didn't really give us the powers, right? So we don't even have the goddess's blessings. We're not even part of her leveling system because we have the god's power from Earth, but people don't really think about that. They're like, who is this guy? What the fuck? The goddess just sent us here? Oh, okay. And they're like, oh, by the way, also because you're from Earth, suddenly your magic and your all that different shit has been lifted. So you're no longer lifted. You're no longer nerfed. You're just strong as fuck right now. You're like, wait, what? Okay. There's like so much little details that they just kind of gloss over immediately. Intentionally in episode 1 because people are kind of caught off guard, so that later they start introducing other themes of the story. It's like, oh, Makoto, your level's still 1, why isn't it going up? And people are like, I don't know, why isn't it going up? Here's another example: reincarnated as a slime, where Rimuru is literally spawned in a fucking cave, but this cave is like the end game fucking territory of like, you know, where Veldora is one of the most important like legendary like dragons are like sealed in, right? And even then there's like a brief story about how Veldora was sealed by a hero, which again then ties into one of the students of Shizu, right? Because of all the different shit that they said, and as well as like the name of Rimuru casually being given to Rimuru from Veldora without explaining what does that name even mean, right? So there's little things that happens in episode 1 of the isekais that like goes beyond to the end game, but you never think about it as a first time watcher because it's just like, holy shit, there's a lot of things just being thrown at me right now.
You never see anything about that ever again. You never get an idea of what they were like in their past life. Have they changed? How have they adapted? It's all just like click of a finger, it's over and done with. They're just like, it just feels like it's just there that first 5 minutes just so they can shove the isekai tag in the actual series. So it's awkward. It feels annoying when they do that, but with Moonlit Fantasy, it doesn't. And the reason being is because of the connection from his past, his present, and then also the future, with all these other heroes being transported as well. So there's multiple heroes, and it seems to be some of these do have connections between each other.
Yeah, Makoto and her,
gathered,
right?
All of them.
Makoto and Hibiki, I think they know each other, and the guy, right, Tomiko, I'm never gonna say his name correctly, fucking Tomaki, whatever his name is. I think he was like an idol or like a model for a magazine, I think.
All of them, because there's 2 heroes that have been transported on top of him, 1 female, 1 male, and each of those have their own unique powers. And so there's so many interesting questions that I have about where that part of the story is going to go. And even if I knew, I wouldn't want to spoil the second season, because I feel like giving an idea of what the first season is, with a little bit of season 2, is all you need to know that it is a great series. If you haven't ever watched Moonlit Fantasy, I highly recommend it. The only issue I have with the series is there's no legal English translation of the light novel.
Legal English translation of light novels. Well, that's not an anime problem. That's a light novel problem.
Currently. That might change, but currently there is not. I hope there will be, because it's a really good series, and I would love, absolutely
But I'm sure the pirates got some translations, right?
love to read the light novels and go deeper into it and see what cut content there is, but also just get more deeper into the story, because I of course gather a feeling that the anime is not going to cover all the light novels with season 2. So there's always going to be.
Do you guys read the light novel for Moonlit Fantasy? Because so far I haven't really gotten a complaint that the Moonlit Fantasy anime itself is like rushing or like skipping so much shit. I haven't had that kind of complaint like I get in like Classroom of the Elite, for example.
More after the anime, and I'm just genuinely curious, and I love doing light novel reviews when they do well and I enjoy them, the fans enjoy them, they get watched, that kind of thing, like, you know.
Because like if there's like an audiobook, maybe we could check it out. I don't know, because like we're listening to the Classroom of the Elite audiobook right now, and I do enjoy when we have some spare time just to kind of get more background information about the source material.
I make content so that people enjoy them, so it always is a bummer if people don't watch them and enjoy them. But I just think Moonlit Fantasy does a lot of things right, especially with his
Such
past
as?
life, and how like he has memories of people that he was close to in his past life, and how that has an impact on his behavior when he sees people in this isekai world.
I guess Hasegawa is an example of that, right? The girl that he fucking crushed when she confessed to him after she fucking changes her entire hairstyle to having a little like a whatever little hairstyle right over here that apparently Makoto liked, and he still dumped her. He didn't dump her. They never even started dating.
His relationship with the goddess itself, it's not like you just have the goddess there for 5 minutes to bestow a power and then it's over with.
I did like that. The fact, well, we've already had a bit of the bitchy goddess kind of tropes before. Like Konosuba is a direct example I can remember right now, right? But at least that was a little bit more comical. You know, the god Aqua is a bitch, but you know, she's our bitch. The goddess in this show, I cannot say that. She is a monster. She's a heinous monster. Now, I have a feeling she's super hot because she... Well, here's another interesting theory that I've been hearing around is like the goddess actually is not hot. And like she loves things that's beautiful and she is very insecure. That's why she'll never... They're never... Don't spoil me in chat. But it makes sense how she is obsessed with beauty and wants the humans to be basically the embodiment of fucking superficial beauty and idiocracy, and they have no education and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's like... What does she look like? Because they haven't shown us her eyes just yet. They're still hiding that. Now, her body, the rest of her physique looks amazing. But it would be very interesting, and I think it would make a lot of sense if she actually was ugly. Maybe even uglier than Makoto, which I don't think is even ugly, man.
No, she's manipulating the whole system and everything. And it does kind of have like a map that looks like Japan as well. So
Yeah, what's up with that? The map of this world is the same as Japan. That is so important. What does that imply? I'm not sure. Our parents are technically from this world, and there are other worlds, right? I think the term was grants. Grants are humans. No, sorry. Grants are beings like humans in the isekai world that were able to basically travel to Earth or other worlds like that, right? And the fact that the countries are the same like map. What does that mean? I don't know.
there's some interesting like crossovers between the two. And then you've also got the other god himself that helped him
Yes.
out. And
The actual god from Earth, the moon god or whatever, that gave us all the powers, like Kai and that kind of shit. That's not part of the goddess's system. That's why we're still level 1. That's why we don't like apply to whatever power scaling that they have. We're on a totally different system.
then you've got his past life with his family, his past life with his friends, and that girl that he had a crush with. Or not really a crush. I think he kind of had feelings, but she didn't, and there's all the manipulation. I'm sketchy with my memory there, just talking about it. But
I think he's talking about Hasegawa and how Hasegawa got dumped by him.
there's just so much potential for the story just from that component alone, and I'm not even getting into the actual power fantasy itself, how he is so overpowered, how
Yeah.
he has to wear equipment to drain the power because of his...
That isn't crazy, huh? And usually most shows, you have to get gears to like boost your power more and more. In this show, we have to get gear to like nerf us because we're too fucking strong.
over the top like mana kind of...
And let me explain the mana part, right? Because I think a lot of people were theorizing and talking about it, and I do also agree. And it's like, yeah, we do know that Makoto loved doing archery back as in Earth too, right? But the reason I couldn't really kind of make that connection is like, why would he already have mana back on Earth? The whole argument of how Makoto has such a deep pool of mana before even coming here was the fact it's a combination of him doing the continued, focused training, which like, basically makes his mana go away to almost like the point of suicide, just destroying oneself, just gone, and then coming back. And basically just stretching that basically just makes the mana pool grow bigger and bigger back on Earth already. But it's like, how would we already have Mana on Earth? I just didn't really understand that part. But let's just say that, you know, Mana already existed for him. He just didn't know that it existed, and he kept doing that, right? And then he gets transported to this other world. And remember what the god said. The god said that suddenly now, because you're here, all your weights are lifted. You're no longer nerfed, right? You're stronger now. Everything should be stronger about you. So combination of those two things is why his mana pool is so fucking big that basically rivals the goddesses, right?
thing. The fact that he looks ugly, which
I don't think he looks ugly at all. I think he looks totally fine, but obviously you cannot make him too ugly. I think he's a solid 7 out of 10 character. But if you made the main character of your anime too fucking ugly, it's hard to market them. It's hard to kind of sell merch. It's hard to make other people kind of watch it, because obviously you want to make them look a little good, right? So it's like an interesting little what's the word? Contradiction happening between them calling him ugly, but it's like it's not too ugly.
I don't think it looks ugly, but apparently in that world he looks ugly, so people kind of shun him, and then because of the mana they get scared of him. And then he's made friends with all these monsters, dragon and the spider, and the spider having a bit.
I talk about that a lot time too, Rio, about how his parents are super hot because they're obviously humans. And like, okay, so like, all right, let's say the parents had their kids. Let's say the parents had Makoto back on Isekai World, and Makoto looks identical. Would that fucking matter? Would he be perceived as hot because he's from here? But if he was fucking born on Earth with the same look, would he be perceived different? I don't really know.
Bit of a relationship with some of these other heroes.
Oh, the mana? I'm not sure.
There's all these things going.
Yeah, you could argue that like the isekai parents, the grands, obviously they're the son of it, right? That's another component, right? Besides the archery and like transporting worlds to get the weights lifted off of him, maybe his parents' genes, because he's like they're like super important people. Yeah, it could make sense too.
And yes, you can technically classify this as a harem.
Harem. I'm kidding. Do we have a harem? Yeah, we do. Yes, we do. We start with Emma. We get a pig, a dragon, and a spider, and much more after that. Yeah, it's a harem.
It's really debatable because
if you define harem as a main character in a show getting surrounded by a bunch of women that wants to fuck him, yes, I do agree this is a harem. Now, obviously, there isn't that kind of like relationship between those characters, and Makoto doesn't thirst over them, right? So that's why maybe a spiritual analysis is kind of hesitating to say that this is harem or not. But yes, if you define a harem as a main character of a show, I don't care how he feels about the other girls. If he gets surrounded by women and all the women are just thirsty over him, I feel like that is indeed a harem.
Technically, the definition of a harem is 3 or more girls.
3 or more. Good to know. Not 2. It's got to be 3 or more.
3 or more individuals in love with the same person. Now, the person doesn't have to reciprocate the feelings. I have to
gotcha. They don't have to reciprocate.
Because I always get yelled at in the comments. People going, "That's not how a harem works." No, that.
No shot. He gets fucking hate comments saying, actually, a spiritual analysis. It's actually more than 3 people, and the feeling cannot be reciprocated.
That is exactly how a harem works. It's 3 or more people in love with the same person, and it does not have to be reciprocated.
Thank you for the definition of what a harem is.
As long as those.
Now there's going to be a bunch of people commenting on his videos saying, actually, it's not called harem, it's harem.
Those 3 are in love with the main protagonist. That is it. That's all that needs to happen. He doesn't have to marry them all. He doesn't have to date them all. He doesn't even have to like them. He could hate them all, and it would still be classified as a harem because.
Is there a harem where the concept is that the main character hates the girls and shits on them? That would be an interesting concept, right? I wonder if a show like that exists.
They are in love with him, but you've got the dragon and the spider, so that's 2. I'm never really sure with the pig girl if she kind of has feelings.
Emma, well, she smells nice. I do like Emma. I mean, she is a pig, but she's so cute and wholesome.
I feel like she does. So I'm kind of like, that technically would make it a harem if she is one of those, but I've never really looked up.
Now we're going to bestiality territory, okay?
The tags to see if other places classified as a harem or not, because I don't really care. I really don't care if it's classified as a harem or not. And that's another thing as well, is that harems do also get a bit of a stigma because, oh, how dare more than one person fall in love with the same person. Yeah,
some people just, like, people wouldn't watch 100 Girlfriends because it's a harem. Like, I don't know. I feel like some shows definitely do get a bad rep before it even starts. Like, they won't even give a chance to. Like, for example, people won't watch Isekai because it's an Isekai, you know? So, I feel like people that are kind of short-sighted, that just kind of stigmatize shows and genres based on these preconceived notions that they themselves haven't even proved. they don't even know. They just hear the bad things around them. They avoid it. I feel like you're missing out, man. You should give it a chance.
person, which, by the way, isn't really that
Religious people get offended. There's plenty of religions where a harem exists, man. there are plenty of religions where the dude just gets surrounded by so many women. It should be fine.
common in real life. Like there's a reason why the term love triangle exists, and reason why there are so many dramas out
How about a love
there,
polygon?
and just interesting stories about people that have drama going on in their own life because, say, like a female has like 3, 4, 5 guys that are
How dare that female have 3, 4, 5 guys?
all interested in them, and they're kind of fighting for their affection. That is technically a harem. People
That's a Otome game, right? That's the reverse harem, where basically if you think that a regular harem is from the perspective of a main male character, I guess then, that's an Otome, the
that
reverse.
it's a reverse harem, but I don't remember the word harem ever being gender specific. So, again, just want to point that out. But you could call it a reverse harem if you want to. Then you've also just got to look at the fact that people just have a bit of a stigma because of other series out there that have harem as a major key component of the story. But
100
to
Girlfriends.
me, the harem doesn't matter. It's just a fun part of it. And the interactions between the dragon and the spider and them kind of vying for his attention and affection, and they've definitely
Makoto straight up does not give a fuck. He's kind of mean to Mio and Tomoe at times. He just straight up finds them annoying, dude. It's kind of funny.
indicated that they kind of want to get in bed with him and do some fun activities. The chemistry from those characters I absolutely love, and also the chemistry from other side characters as well, those that he interacts with from the human side, the beast side, the world itself, and how it kind of meshes the fog. There's so many amazing things that I really love what the anime has done, and seeing that expand into season 2 opens up so much potential of where the story can go, especially
And here's the thing, where the story can go. No, the story is just beginning, because again, season 1 is literally the prologue. It is the setup. Season 2 is the actual story. Can you imagine that?
especially with the goddess's influence and the humans and the demons fighting, and then these 2 other additional heroes being summoned. It's just mind-boggling where it can go. And this is the thing. Season 1 was a single core. Season 2 is a double core. Clearly, there is a lot of interest in the series. Now, as far as other things go, like merchandise and all that, I'd be very interested to see if that expands more further. But I really, really, really want to see a light novel adaptation done. If there is a fan translation out there, I might give that a read. Definitely tell me in the comments down below if there is one, and I might go hunting for it just to read it. Because I really want to read the light novels at some point and definitely talk about them in more detail, about what I think of the story and each component of the volumes. And I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of Moonlight Fantasy?
I think that Moonlight Fantasy started off very generic to me. Again, not because that it is a generic show, but because I've seen other animes such as Reincarnate as a Slime that took inspiration from Moonlight Fantasy to make me think that, oh shit, I've already seen this before, but technically this is the OG. Not gonna lie, it took a couple episodes to get me really invested. The interactions between Tomoe, Mio, Makoto, and Emma, it's kind of funny at times, but it's like, where is the moment that really gets me invested into this show? I think it was the last arc. It was starting from whenever Fragment of Tomoe died. It's when the humans, the blonde girl, started to do that shit, right? And that was the point where Makoto basically showed his true nature. He was absolutely cold. He just disarmed her, literally. Her arm was sliced off. We tortured her. We fucking killed her because she deserved it. And at that point, the cold ruthlessness of this character, combined with the points where there's a couple scenes in this season 1 where you get to see a little bit of the unhinged side of Makoto. Because I think a lot of people might perceive this character as like a sweet, nice boy. I don't think so. I think he's a fucking sociopath. I think there's a side to him that's so dark that has been hinted throughout scenes. There's scenes where he's just kind of mad at characters. For example, Alchemy Meister guy, there's this episode where we were kind of like dealing with potions and he almost tripped and he almost like obviously lost the important potion. Very minor scene, but Makoto was actually fucking triggered and he was getting pissed off. And this is one of the single many scenes, and this is one of the multiple scenes where we get to see just a little bit of how pissed off he gets. He's actually quite irritated in a lot of different scenes, but we just kind of play it off like, ha ha ha, who knows, right? But I feel like, again, this is hiding his true side. In season 2, episode 4, during the teacher exam, he literally kind of said, should I burn this entire place down? As a joke. But was it a joke? I don't know. I feel like this show is fucking trolling us and kind of hinting that, hey, you don't really know this guy. You don't know him. You think that you do, but you don't. And I'm gonna throw a little crumbs of his unhinged sides here and there so that later, when he does something fucked up, you're gonna be like, oh shit, has it been hinted all this time? Combine the sociopathic tendencies with how all the different, story points of the first and second disciples and the demons and all the different perspectives of the battles happening with Makoto coming in. That part, that ending arc of season 1 combined with the first 3 to 4 episodes of season 2, I think really sealed the deal in terms of how much I enjoy Skimichi Moonlight Fantasy. If you don't watch it, shame on you, man. You should watch it, man. You should really give it a try because I think it's a beautiful show. Now, I think we can watch one more video before we get into Classroom the Elite light novel reading. Or maybe we can just do this tomorrow, actually. We can do Baseless Pen, and then we can just do Classroom the Elite light novel reading right now. What would you guys like to do? Type 1 in chat for Baseless U-Pen, 2 for light novel reading. What do you guys think? I like to dedicate like an hour to the light novel readings. If I do this Baseless U-Pen, it's gonna be like 30 minutes, and then we're not gonna have time for light novel reading, dude. Like straight up, we're gonna have like 20 minutes of light novel reading. I think we saved this for tomorrow, yeah? I think we saved this for tomorrow, guys. All right. There's that. There's in your white room. There's a Classroom of the Elite. Wait, I think it should be in my watched later list.
Anxious as she took out her digital camera and held.
Okay, subtitles on. We want the playback speed to be 1.25. We want the subtitles to be big. Move that here. This is looping. Good. Be right back. Let me one bathroom break, then we can start this, okay? Okay. Where were we? I think we're still in the Sigura arc. Alright. We were in the Sigura stuff.
Held it tight. You really love your camera, don't you? I asked. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? No, not at all. It's a good hobby to have. isn't it? I get the feeling there's a significant story attached to the camera. It'd
yeah.
be great if
The
it could be
OnlyFans.
seen. Yeah, there it is, the repairs counter. The store was crowded with a huge number of products and difficult to navigate, but towards
All right, we're gonna get to the creepy guy, right? I don't like this part of the story, to be honest. With the creepy guy, just like, ugh. We gotta get through it though. We gotta get through it.
the back was the place where they handled repairs. For some reason, Sigura suddenly stopped in her tracks. When I glanced over at her, I noticed she was wearing an expression of blatant fear and revulsion. It seemed that
Revulsion?
something had upset her quite a bit.
Is it a
However, when I followed Sigura's line of
cashier
sight,
guy?
I saw nothing out of the ordinary. What's the matter, Sigura-san? Kushida asked. She also must have thought Sigura's behavior was strange.
What's going on?
Well, although it seemed like she was about to say something, all Sigura did was shake her head and take a deep breath. It's nothing. She donned an earnest smile and walked to the repair counter. Kushida and I exchanged looks.
What was
but
that look?
decided to follow her.
I guess she's just panicking because it's just already there and they might find the contents of her camera. I don't know.
Maybe it really was nothing, like she said. Kushida talked to the store clerk and asked him to repair the digital camera. Meanwhile, incredibly bored, I checked out the appliances on display. Kushida's worldly wisdom was certainly impressive. Even though it was her first time meeting the store clerk, she was soon talking to him as if they were longtime friends. Sigura, the
Koji really is jealous of people that can just like start up random conversations with strangers, huh? Like just being able to converse with NPCs. Koji just gets like, oh my god, you're so cool. Riz.
camera's owner spoke only when she needed to give her consent or to clarify something. Even so, the store clerk appeared pretty fired up. He aggressively engaged Kushida in conversation, without even
You know why he's engaging aggressively with Kushida in conversation. Wait, is there some light novel illustration we should be checking out actually? Let's see. Illustrations. No, this is chapter 1. We need volume 2 illustrations. No, I think we're still here. Basically, we're at the mall right now. We're just kind of chilling, and I think we're leading into the shop. Yeah.
pausing for a breath. Although I could just barely hear the conversation, it sounded like he was asking Kushida on a date. He asked if she wanted to see a certain female idol's concert, which was being streamed over in the theater. He seemed like quite the
We got an idol concert theater. He's fucking baiting us with tickets for.
otaku. Judging from how
Wait, why would you approach a girl with like tickets to see an idol concert together? Is that the right market? Is that the right audience? I feel like, all right, okay. If I were to be like, hey, I got new tickets for fucking, I don't know, Suisei VTuber concert, Hololive. You want to watch it together with the different? Would the girl be like, what the fuck? You watch concerts of a 2D anime girl? I feel like that's the worst thing you could possibly do.
passionate he was about a wide range of subjects, from idol elections to idol magazines. Because
Idol,
Kushida
idol,
didn't show
idol.
any signs of disliking the conversation. He probably thought he could
Kushida is probably disgusted, but she's not gonna show like her disgust towards him.
successfully ask her out. However, I believed she would try her hardest to sidestep the invitation. He seemed to be getting excited over talking to such a cute girl, but their conversation didn't proceed any further. As I'd expected, Kushida began to feel awkward. In order to conclude their business, she urged Sigura to hand over the camera. When the store clerk
All right,
opened up the camera
rejected.
to confirm the contents, he saw that part of it had been damaged from the fall. That was why the camera wouldn't turn on properly. Fortunately, because Sigura still had their warranty card, the item could be
Like, why don't you just take the fucking SD card out and put it into your fucking computer and then load the contents? What are you doing? You don't need this fucking useless camera. I get it. She wants it repaired, but still.
repaired free of charge. Finally, all Sigura had to do was fill out her contact information, and we'd be done. But Sigura's hand suddenly stopped as she filled out the form. Sigura-san, Kushida, thinking that something strange was going on, called out to Sigura. She seemed to be hesitating for some reason. I didn't intend to say anything at the time, but her attitude seemed to weigh on my mind.
What's going
And also,
on?
the store clerk, who had previously been absorbed in his conversation with Kushida, now stared directly at Sigura. Both Sigura and Kushida were looking down at the form, so they didn't notice. But the clerk had unsettling eyes. Even men would find it a little creepy. Can I see
It's like worse look than even Yamauchi or fucking Ike.
it for a second? I asked. Standing next to Sigura, I reached for the pen she was holding. She didn't seem to understand why I wanted it, but she anxiously handed it over. When the repairs are finished, please contact me. Hey, wait a minute. Contact you? She's the owner, isn't she? That would be. The manufacturer warranty explicitly shows where the item was sold and the date of purchase. Also, I doubt there'd be any legal problems with me putting my information down.
Boring
It should be
insurance stuff.
perfectly fine if the user's name is different than the purchaser's. Before the clerk could say I understand, I'd entered my name and my dorm room number into the required fields. Or, is there a reason why she specifically has to enter her information?
Yeah, because he wants the information to creep her, to stalk her.
Still without looking back up. No, not at all. I understand. There's nothing.
Is this just a random employee at the school? How does that work? Is he hired by the school? Because this is a separate island, you know, isolated environment, but he is a store clerk. So he was specifically hired, he got approved by the school? Interesting.
Nothing to worry about, the clerk said. Shortly after I'd completed the form, I handed it over with the camera. Sigura gently patted her chest and sighed in apparent relief. But when she learned it'd take 2 weeks for the camera to be repaired, she grew discouraged. Her shoulders slumped. That clerk sure was something else. He talked with such incredible passion. I was just so shocked, Kushida said. Didn't you feel kind of disgusted? Sigura asked.
Disgusted?
No, I wasn't disgusted by him. Do you know something about that clerk? Sigura gave a meek nod. I guessed that something had been off even when she first purchased the camera. Turning to me, she asked, what do you think, Ayanokuchi-kun? Well, he had this sort of vibe, like he's kind of hard to approach, especially for girls. That was kind of what I was trying to get at before. I was scared
Super
to go to the
stalker.
repair shop alone because of that. Kushida seemed to have an epiphany. She turned to me with wide eyes. Did you know about this, Ayanokuchi-kun? Well, she's a girl. I thought she might be reluctant to write down her address or cell phone number. Being a guy, I wouldn't be troubled if my info.
The clerk is probably so upset that he got Ayanokuchi-kun's number instead of Sigura's.
Information got out there. Thank you. Ayanokuchi.
Yo, bro is so compromised right now. Like, Ayanokuchi is so fucking compromised right now. His, like, security doesn't exist. Multiple people have duplicate card keys. This fucking clerk has all our personal information. Bro, we're an open book. What are you doing, product of the White Room?
Uji-kun, you really saved me. Nah, I didn't really do anything. I just wrote down my address. When they contact me about the repairs, I'll get in touch with you right away. Sigura nodded, looking glad. If that's all it takes to please you, then it actually makes me sorry for you. You really looked out for Sigura-san, Kushida said. Well, you're making it out to be bigger than it was. Honestly, I was only watching out for that rather weird clerk. I guess he gave the impression that he really loved girls. Haha, that's certainly true. Even
Love girls? Bit too much. It's beyond love now. This is like an obsession with these girls. He's just collecting random girls like information during his job because it's convenient to do so. Imagine what he does with that shit. I bet he fucking puts spyware in different people's technology to creep on them even more.
Kushida appeared nonplussed. For someone like Sigura, though, who wasn't accustomed to fawning male attention, I thought it was the right answer. Since you were with me today, Kushida-san, we completed our task without me having to talk at all. Thank you. If Siguro had faced that store clerk one-on-one, she probably would have run away. Oh, no need to thank me. If you're okay with my help, then I'm happy to lend a hand anytime. Siguro-san, you really like your camera, don't you? Yeah, I've liked cameras ever since I was little. My dad bought me one before I entered.
No, this is nice. The dad did not encourage her to take those kind of pictures, no.
Junior high, and I absolutely fell in love with it.
Okay.
Or I suppose you could say that I just love taking pictures. I'm not
Nothing wrong with taking pictures. I just hope that the dad didn't kind of encourage her to do that.
really well informed when it comes to this stuff, though. I think being knowledgeable and liking things are separate matters. It's wonderful to be so passionate about something. Sigura, you usually take pictures of landscapes, right? Do you ever take pictures of people? Huh? Sigura stepped backwards, looking quite
Of
flustered.
people.
Did she find that
Did you ever take pictures of yourself, Siguro, and post it online?
unpleasant? It had seemed like an extremely natural question to ask. Like, did she just take pictures of landscapes or were they her specialty? Sigura shut her mouth.
Other type of landscapes. Big mountains. 2 valleys.
And her body stiffened. That's a secret. Well then, it sounded like she didn't want to go into the details with me. Well, it's embarrassing, replied Sigura, her cheeks reddening. She looked down as she spoke, although my
Imagination should be going here. This is the kind of picture that she's taken. This is right here. Shizuku's summer has come.
Ran wild. I couldn't let it show on my face. I had to
Koji!
remain neutral. Okay,
Koji's
that
thinking
reminds
about
me,
that
sorry to
dude.
ask, but since we're here, is it okay for me to look around the store? Was there something you wanted? It wasn't so much that I wanted something, as there was something on my mind. The two of you can wander around, if you want. I think we'll come in, too, right? Kushida said, "Yes, sure. After all, I feel bad you both had to come with me. Besides, I do have the time. I didn't exactly want them there, but apparently they decided to come along." Kushida and Sigura. When I watched the two of them walk side by side, I realized that they'd managed to grow closer in just one day. Kushida,
Okay.
I wish you'd share a little of your people skills with me. Since they seem to be having girl talk, I decided to leave them alone and went to look for what I wanted. I went into my phone's contacts. Back when Nike had involved me in the whole gambling thing, I'd exchanged contact information with some people. Even though I still only had a
Such
few names
as?
in my address book, it was clear that my number of friends was increasing. I selected the name Sotomura.
Koji's getting...
Professor, and
Wait. Selected Sotomura. We're calling the professor? Hakase? What the fuck? Why is he getting selected right now?
Hey Professor, do you have a minute? It's rare
What?
to get a call from you, Ayano Kuji. What do you need? Sotomura's nickname was Professor, which undoubtedly made it sound like he was rather intelligent. In reality, he was just a huge otaku. He gathered information daily, comprehensively spanning a wide variety of topics.
Just Excel sheets on Excel sheets on Excel sheets of girls' bust sizes.
From dating sims to anime and manga. Professor, did you buy your laptop computer from the school with your points? Yes, I most certainly did. It cost 80,000 points. But what if...
Bro spent 80,000 points on a laptop? Bro, the 100k points? We found someone that spent even more money than the fucking PS Vita, which cost like 20k or 30k, right? Bro dropped 80k? Well, honestly, K probably dropped like 80k on fucking clothing. At least a laptop is actually useful.
I'm looking for something. I explained the gist of what I wanted. Although many similar products sat on the displays in front of me, I didn't know which one to choose. It probably would have been faster to just ask the store clerk, but I didn't want to for various reasons. Ayano Kuji, though I am considerably
Ayano
well-versed in that
Kuji.
particular electronic field. It's okay if you don't know. Please wait, said the professor as I was about to end the call. I do know. In fact, I have two of them at my parents' home. No way. You've had them since junior high? Isn't that bad? Do not misunderstand me. They were only for experimentation, for the sake of my language studies. Well, could I trouble you to help me set it up? Phew. Leave it to me. I'm
What are
sure
we setting
that
up?
someday I will have a favor to ask of you in return. Clearly, he was the man for the job. When
I'm not really too sure what's going on here. I don't want to read that stuff back because it doesn't seem too important. But basically, Professor is helping us with some technology setup. What is he setting up for us, guys?
entering a subject that I didn't understand, it was important to find an expert. Sorry to keep you waiting, I said to the girls. Have you already finished? Today was just a preliminary inspection. I don't have enough points to buy anything. Suddenly, Kushida froze while glancing over at Sigura's profile. Sigura-san, have we met somewhere before? Kushida murmured. Huh? No, I don't think so, but...
They met somewhere before? Would Kushida recognize Sakura as OnlyFans?
Sorry, it's just that when I look at you, I get this feeling that we've met before. Sigura-san.
Sigura has... Wait, Kushida has seen the gravure model pictures?
Hey, weird question, but could you try removing your glasses?
Wait!
But that's... My eyesight is so bad, I wouldn't be able to see a thing. Sigura put her hand up and waited, signaling to Kushida that she did not want to. We should hang out together again. Sigura-san. Not just with me, but with my other friends, too. That's... Sigura looked like she wanted to say something, but she couldn't find her way to the end of the thought. She said nothing. Kushida seemed to feel that it would make trouble if she pressed the issue, so she kept quiet. Or rather, she didn't ask anything else. In the end, we returned to where we'd started. Thank you for everything today. You really helped me out, Sigura said. It's okay. It's okay. There's no need to thank us. Actually, Sigura-san, you can talk to us normally, you know? If it's okay with you. We're in the same grade. It sounds a little weird when you speak so formally to us. It was certainly true that Sigura's speech patterns weren't exactly what you would expect from a peer, but changing that might be easier said than done for her.
That sounds like you're making fun of her. I don't know. Her brain development right now. Her speech pattern is not the same as a peer,
She
but...
was visibly perplexed. I didn't mean to sound that way. I wasn't aware of it. I sound weird. It's not really a bad thing. I mean, I'd be happy if you didn't speak so formally to me, though. Okay. I got it. I'll do my best. I thought that Sigura would have rejected the notion, but she managed to squeak out a few words of agreement. It seemed like she wanted to accept Kashida's proposal. Perhaps this was how people became friends, little by little. Even Sigura, who seemed to have hardly interacted with another person ever, was steadily growing closer to Kashida. It's okay, though. You don't need to force yourself. It's okay. Will. Sigura kept her eyes down as she spoke. Partway through her sentence she began to sputter, and her words faded so much that we couldn't hear them. However, it didn't seem as though she felt uncomfortable. Kashida smiled in satisfaction.
So she's just like muttering right now. No one knows what she's actually saying. And she's like, okay, you're doing a good job.
But didn't try to coerce anything more from Sigura.
Kushida just fucking smiling and just like awkwardly standing there like, yeah, you're doing a good job.
Specific distance felt exactly right for where they were at the moment. If you tried to strong-arm people who weren't good at socializing, it could backfire. Rather than be grateful, they'd...
That's true. You can't just make Sigura act... Like, you can't confront her like that. You can't have Suzune talk to Sigura, right? You need to like treat these little snowflakes, little butterflies, be very gentle. Because or else they're gonna get very upset and flustered.
Probably find it off-putting rather than draw them nearer.
I'm not gonna lie, I fucking hate people like this. I fucking hate overly sensitive little bitches like this. I'm not gonna lie, she makes me very upset. I fucking hate the fact that she can't handle herself. I fucking hate the fact that she can't socialize. I fucking hate the fact that she stutters. I hate everything about Sigura. She's trash, she's weak. She's got nothing fucking going on for her. I hate her. Her whole point right now, we don't even need that bitch. We just need a fucking SD card. Give me the fucking picture proof, dude.
Being overbearing would probably end up pushing them.
Am I being mean? Yes, I'm being mean, but maybe she needs a little bit of that. If she had that in her childhood, I bet you she wouldn't be such a fucking little sensitive little bitch, bro. I feel like sometimes we need to bring bullying back. I feel like people need to fucking learn how to survive. And the more you coddle them, you fucking little baby them, you little protect them, they can't be independent. They're weak. Am I mean for saying this? Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Them further away. Well then, we'll see you at school, okay? With that, Kashida thought the conversation had ended. However, rather unexpectedly, Sigura didn't move. Well, Sigura spoke in a small voice, but looked straight at us
Talk
when
up!
our gazes met. However, she immediately averted her eyes.
Talk
about
up, bitch!
Sarukan as my way of saying thanks for today. Well, that might be a little misleading, but if you like. She paused and started again more clearly. I may be able to help you with Sarukan's case, in her own words.
So this all started off with a suspicion. Suzune had a suspicion about Sakura, right? This all started with, or was it Kushida? Anyways, we finally get to the point where we kind of just help. Well, Suda said that he felt someone might be near. I think Kushida and like Suzune kind of had like a sus feeling about the Sakura girl, and now that we kind of help her fix her camera because we accidentally broke it, now she's actually willing to help with the Sudo case. So yeah, everything's kind of like logically just kind of making sense, yeah.
Sigura told us that she was the witness. Kashida and I exchanged glances. So, does that mean that you saw Sarukan fight with those other students? Yep. Yes, I saw everything. It was a total coincidence, though. I'm sure you don't believe me. No, we do.
But eyewitnesses is not enough. That's not hard proof, because she could be making that shit up because she's also from our class. We needed hard evidence.
Why did you decide to tell us now, though? I mean, I'm happy you did, but I don't want you to force yourself. You don't have to do this just because you're grateful, you know? Sigura couldn't seem...
Imagine if Sakura was in Class C right now. Imagine if Ryuen was the one that dealt with Sakura. Could you imagine? Oh, you don't have to force yourself to do this. Ryuen would be like, Albert, do your thing. And Albert would come here and fucking break Sakura's arm and be like, boss's orders. Bad girl.
Out. She lightly shook her head. The fact that Sigura had waited until now to talk proved that she was more concerned about Sadu's case than anything else. I wondered if getting a foothold on friendship made her want to cooperate. Is that really true? You're not forcing yourself? Kashida asked. She must have been thinking the same thing as me. Sigura nodded sheepishly, as if she could feel that we were worrying about it. It's okay. I think that if I kept quiet, I'd probably come to regret it. I don't want to cause trouble for my classmates. But, if I spoke up as a witness, then I would definitely stand out. I hated the thought of that. I'm sorry. While Sigura apologized to us repeatedly, full of remorse, she also promised Kashida that she would testify. Thank you, Sigura-san. I'm sure Sarukan will be really happy. Kashida took Sigura's hand, and Sigura looked at Kashida's smiling face. I wondered if a new friendship had been born right here.
Are they friends though? I feel like later in the anime in season 1, beyond this point, like Sakura still thinks that like Kushida is sus and doesn't get good feelings around her.
Right now, at any rate, we had Sadu's witness. 4.11. That night, I clutched my phone tightly. My hand was sweating so much you'd think the air conditioning in my room wasn't working.
Bro, More temperature, weather, body heat. What's going
We
on?
got closer to Sakura, but is it really okay for me to say that? Yesterday I would have said no, but our chances are better today. I think we still have a way to go yet, though. You're making yourself all frazzled. I'd guessed that Sakura would probably grow closer to Kushida, specifically, but I had a feeling that Sakura had erected a rather high wall between herself and other
Erected
people.
a high
Unless
wall.
we could get her to climb over that wall, calling on Sakura as a witness would be difficult. That reminds me, why did you try to get Sakura to take off her glasses? I asked Kushida. Well,
OnlyFans pictures.
I mean, I thought saying so might be kind of cruel, but
Right over here. No glasses here.
I just feel like her glasses don't really suit her.
That's crazy that she would post her full face too online. Like, you would think that a girl that's so like scared and wants to be discreet and shy would kind of, I don't know, go like faceless OnlyFans or something, or put on a mask or some other thing. But you just, that's it? You're just gonna take your glasses off? That's it? Alright.
For some reason, it's like she doesn't really need them, or something. I don't understand it myself. I also thought that we'd met somewhere before, but that was probably just a misunderstanding. Well, perhaps that was just your imagination. Kushida, I mean, Sakura is pretty far from being stylish, right? I mean, so am I.
Stylish?
But she even chooses clothes with plain colors so she stands out as little as possible.
Stands out as little as possible? I don't think so, man. I feel like she stands out a lot. She's just embodiment of pink. She stands out so much. She stands out way more than Kei or Hirata to me.
Yeah, there's that. I don't think that she's concerned with fashion or anything, but I wonder why. Back when her camera fell and Sakura had bent down to pick it up, I'd seen her glasses from the side. Something about them had struck me as being out of place. I felt like there's something a little off, like she's wearing fake glasses.
Are they fake?
Sakura-san wears fake glasses,
I didn't know they were fake glasses. I don't think the anime ever talked about that. What?
but she said that her eyesight was really bad. Although real glasses and fake ones appear similar at first glance, there is definitely a difference between them. Real glasses show some distortion on the lenses. There wasn't any distortion on Sakura's glasses. At first, I thought that there was definitely some link between those fake glasses and Sakura's fashion sense, but then I found myself puzzled over something she said today. Appearing fashionable with glasses? That doesn't sound normal. If she wanted to liven up her appearance with decorative items, she should have bought other clothes or makeup, or maybe it's to cover up some kind of complex.
Yes, she's
like how
trying to
someone
kinda
thinks
look
they appear
nerdy or
intelligent
whatnot,
by
you
putting
know?
on glasses. There's that. Wearing glasses does make you look smart. In Sakura's case, though, she probably wears them because she doesn't want others to see her true self.
Pretty much, it's just like a mask for her.
She's always slouching and won't look people in the eye. I doubt it's simply because she dislikes other people. I felt like there was some hidden way to get over that wall. Something I knew.
Oh my god, imagine if Yamauchi fucking found Sakura's OnlyFans. I'm surprised that wasn't even part of the drama. I guess Koji was nice enough. Koji specifically... The rumors in season 3, right? Who did Koji destroy? Koji just fucking destroyed Hondo for no reason, saying, hey, Hondo likes fat bitches only. And then Koji destroyed Ike and that other blue-haired girl, right? Saying that she's a fucking prostitute. What's the other? Who else got destroyed between that? I forget. But like, you could have just also said Sakura has an OnlyFans, you know? Koji could have completely just destroyed her there.
It was right to bring you along, Ayano-kuchi-kun. I feel like you're very observant of people. I was a little embarrassed. The best part of interacting with Kushida was how we were able to connect and converse naturally. People who didn't know how to get closer to another person would bungle and compromise until they got to a point where they just gave up. So then, just as I was about to continue the conversation with Kushida, my phone buzzed.
Oh?
I checked the caller ID without Kushida knowing.
Who
If
is
it were
it?
Ike or Yamoki, I'd call them back later. But if it were Horikita, I'd have to think about it. That's what I was prepared for.
Ike Yamauchi, we'll call him later, fuck up, but if it's Susan, uh-oh.
But the name on the screen reads Sakura. I'm sorry, Kushida.
Oh,
Can I
Sakura's
call you
calling.
back in a bit? Oh, sure. Sorry for talking so long. Though there was a heavy regret in those parting words. I didn't have the time to address it. I answered Sakura's call before it cut out. After pressing the call button, I waited several seconds, but the line remained silent. Hello, this is Sakura. This is Ayano-kuchi. Even
This
though
is
we'd exchanged contact
Ayano-kuchi.
information, I found it a little strange that she'd called me. Even when I formally exchanged contact information with someone, 9 times out of 10 I wouldn't get a call. Thank you for coming out with me today, Sakura said. Oh, no problem. It wasn't really a big deal. Don't worry about it. You shouldn't fuss so much and keep thanking me. Okay, silence followed, but it wasn't Sakura's fault. I didn't really know how to respond to her. I thought of how Kushida took the lead in our conversation. Still, I had to do my best on this call. What's the matter? More silence. What should I do, please? Harata, teach me. What were you thinking about? Sigura asked me a rather ambiguous question. What was I thinking about?
Your
She
glasses.
likely didn't want to know my thoughts
Fake
on how
glasses.
cute Kushida looked in casual clothing, or how exceptionally interesting I found Sigura herself. I had no idea what Sigura was expecting. Did something happen? I asked. Something about the emotion behind her words made me uneasy, so I cast a verbal line to see if I could reel
A
in
verbal
anything else.
line.
However, the line tautened and snapped as soon as it touched water. I'm sorry, it's nothing. Good night. Sigura ended the call with
She calls, and then she just hangs up on us. That was the most awkward phone call ever.
without even giving me a chance
What the
to reply.
fuck?
No,
What the
please wait
fuck?
or hold on. I thought about calling her back, but I couldn't understand why I'd failed in our conversation. I thought about it carefully while washing my face.
I hate this. I hate that she's so fucking weak and little sensitive little bitch. Like, oh, just did we fail? No, she failed. But it's like you can't blame the victim, you know. If you want the results, you need to compel her, right? That's the thing. Even like Pseudo, Ike, or Yamauki, even like uniting the idiot trio to like help them study. It's like, yes, it fucking sucks, but you can't blame these idiots, you know? We gotta fucking unite them. I hate uniting these idiots. I hate the fact that we have to keep doing this shit.
spent
Ugh.
about 10 minutes talking with Kushida, but during the time, there weren't any signs that Sigura had tried to call or left messages. Perhaps Sigura had planned on calling Kushida after talking to me. I had a hard time imagining that. Normally when you had to call two people, the first person you would call would be the one you knew better. In this case, I was the only person she could call and see, so I was the reasonable choice. Just to be sure though, I went ahead and sent a chat message to Kushida and asked her if she had heard from Sigura. A few minutes later, Kushida confirmed that she hadn't heard back from Sigura, just as I'd thought. I was asked to invite you as well, Ayanokuchi-kun. Did you talk to Sigura-san? When I'd met Kushida that morning, she'd said something like that. Because Sigura got really nervous when she was alone with Kushida. I had thought she'd just invited someone else who was suitable for the task. But was it not like that? Aside from a crazy dream like it being love at first sight, was there some reason I had been chosen to go? I remembered something I'd felt while talking with Sigura today. Sigura and Kushida struck up most of the conversations, but I'd broached a topic, namely, the clerk at the store who'd helped with a repair order. I hadn't brought up anything else. What if that's what she'd meant when she asked? What were you thinking about? All of the puzzle pieces.
I thought there was the fake glasses that Anakoji might have been thinking about. Was it with the clerk instead?
I collected were too small and too few. I was able to conjure up several scenarios and speculations, but they all lacked credibility. I didn't have enough information to come to a definitive decision. Normally I'd have thought that asking around at school would be fine, but in Sigura's case, things wouldn't be so simple. If I just went up and started talking to Sigura, who normally didn't talk to anyone, it would make her stand out. She wouldn't like that. I prayed that the anxieties I developed over the phone call were unfounded, and decided to get ready for bed. Chapter 5.
All right,
Each
good
and
night.
Every prediction. It was just one day until the meeting between Sadu and Class C. With Horikita's
Here we go,
cooperation
court
and Sigura's
scene.
testimony, as well as Kushida and Hirata's actions, our entire class felt spirited and courageous. You could say that we were united. However,
United
it was
my
obvious
ass.
that we lacked firm, irrefutable evidence. and it would
Exactly.
still be difficult.
Without evidence, you're only fucking the girl that's testifying is from your class. How suspicious is that? You can't just have your own people say that, oh, we're innocent.
Prove Sadu's innocence. Our deliberation would decide the outcome. Man, it really is hot today. I
More weather stuff. It's hot again. Why do they keep saying
never
this?
thought about global warming more than when I exited a building with working air conditioning. Considering
The whole thing about how we have the same uniforms, no summer or winter, the same shit because we have good air conditioning. What is up with the wear and the temperature of this
I'd
place?
likely suffer every day until August. My spirits remained low the moment I left my dorm's lobby. Hot and humid air assaulted me while I endured the pain of my burning skin. I walked the path.
Hot, humid summer weather is absolute hell. I much prefer winters. I much prefer being cold than hot because at least you can control your temperature by raising the heat up. Maybe you can wear extra layers of clothing. But when it's like hot and humid and it's like a heat wave, you can't do anything after you're naked. You're fucked. You're either have air conditioning or you die. And if you're outside, you're fucked.
Path to school lined with green, leafy trees. Something was different today, though. There was something on the bulletin board by the stairways.
How is dry hot worse than humid hot? The whole thing about humid hot being worse than dry hot is because the humidity makes it feel like you're in a swamp. The humidity literally makes that temperature. Let's say you have a dry heat of like 40 degrees Celsius. let's say you have a humid heat of 40 degrees Celsius. Because it's humid, that 40 degrees Celsius is gonna feel like it's like 50 degrees Celsius, right? At least when it's dry, you can get the breeze, the dry breeze. Like for example, if you're like in Arabia, if you're like in the summer desert somewhere, right? The desert side, it makes it feel a lot more cooler. Exactly, humidity has moisture. That's exactly, you're proving my point. That moisture, heat, moisture, swamp heat is literally a fucking like blanket of like an extra gravity layer on you. It makes it so much worse. Being dry, at least the breeze can go. In humid hot, you are fucked, dude. No. 100% scientifically, the humidity determines like how much worse it's gonna be.
Landing a little in front of the shoe cubbies, a paper on the board said that they were looking for students with information related to Sudu and Class C. This, clearly,
When the ambient humidity is high, the effectiveness of evaporation of the skin is reduced. And that's another thing. Exactly, scientifically, like when you're so hot, you want to sweat. Sweating is literally your body's reactions to try to cool off. But when it's dry outside, you can't do that. But exactly right here, the effective evaporation of the skin is reduced. The body's ability to get rid of the excess heat decreases. You're stuck. It's like this blanket that just wraps you around the fucking humidity and moisture. You're fucked. I hate that shit. It's so bad. I think this is like, where is it like that? Like, I think like Costa Rica, Nicaragua. I was there during like one like summer university retreat, building a school there. Holy shit, it fucking sucked there. The weather was so fucking humid and hot. Other places, I think a lot of places in like Southeast Asia, like Philippines for example, isn't it like that too? Like, oh, it's just like, it's like entering a sauna, you know? Everywhere you go, it's a fucking sauna.
somebody was trying to help. It was sincerely appreciated, because we hadn't even considered taking such measures ourselves. This mystery person was action-oriented. Furthermore, while the sign itself might have appeared a weak effort, the author also wrote that they'd be willing to give points to helpful informants. In that case, even apathetic students would pay attention. As I scanned the message, I was quite impressed. Good morning.
We will watch the coat stuff tomorrow, probably, Mario.
Ayanokuji-kun. Ayaki Nose called out from behind me.
Oh,
She
it's
must have just
Yucky
arrived.
Nose.
I saw the paper on the bulletin board. Did you post it? Ayaki Nose? Ayaki Nose joined me in looking at the board. She appeared deeply interested. I see. So there's this method, too. Huh? This wasn't you? I thought that surely this was her strategy. This was probably... he's here. Good morning. Kanzaki-kun. Ayaki Nose raised her...
Oh. Illustration time. Kanzaki. Kanzaki and Iyaki Nose. They actually said Kanzaki's name properly. But we have Iyaki Nose here and
her
Kanzaki.
hand up and signaled to a lone male student. The boy noticed Ayaki Nose and approached us with quiet steps. Did you put this up? Kanzaki-kun. Yeah, I made and posted it on Friday. Is there something wrong? Oh, no, not at all. My friend here just wanted to know who did it. I'll introduce you
My friend. Oh, we're Iyaki Nose's friend?
to Kanzaki-kun from Class B. This is Ayanokuji-kun from Class D. Nice to meet you, Kanzaki. His demeanor was stiff, but he appeared to be a serious student. He
Yeah.
was tall and slender, a pretty boy, but in a different way from Hirata.
Yeah, he's a pretty boy in a different way for sure. He's like, Hirata is a little bit more approachable, a little bit more friendlier. Kanzaki has that like cool, sharp, edgy look. You know what I mean? I wonder what his defect is. Why is he in Class B? I don't really know anything about this guy. They straight up they don't give him lines in the anime. They did finally in the most recent episode where he vouches for Ichinose and says that, hey, despite your shoplifting crimes, we still love you, but anime, he never gets any love.
I took his outstretched hand. How's it going? Kanzaki-kun, did you get anything reliable? Unfortunately, I haven't received any useful information. I see. Well, how about we look at the bulletin board? At the bulletin board, did you put up another poster? Ayaki Nose wore a thin smile, indicating it was something else. Have you ever checked out the school homepage? There's a message board. I requested that people come forward with information there. I said that if there anyone witnessed a violent incident at our school, I'd like to hear about it. After she said that, Ayaki Nose showed us her phone's screen. It showed a message seeking out witnesses, as well as a count for the number of people who'd viewed it. The displayed number was still only in the dozens, but it was much more efficient than asking people directly. Also, the message
Basically just using the... It's not social... Well, is this social media? It's a bulletin board. It's like a physical board, but like witnesses is not going to help. We need hard evidence.
posted to the homepage offered compensation to witnesses and people with helpful information. Regarding the stuff about points, don't worry, we just decided to do that on our own. Besides, It will probably be difficult for us to get new information now. Ah, what's the matter? It looks like I just got 2 messages regarding the post. There might be a little information. Ayaki checked her phone for confirmation. After she'd read the messages, a slight smile crept onto her face. Just like this, she showed me her phone so I could read the message for myself. It looks like one of the boys from Class C, Ishizaki-kun, was a bad seed in junior
Oh,
college.
Ishizaki?
He was good at fighting and terrorized the locals. A kid from his hometown probably leaked this. Interesting. Kanzaki muttered, also reading the message. Like Kanzaki, I found the information quite interesting.
Okay, we're getting a little bit of dirt on like Class C students that were involved with, you know, pseudo, so that it could be credible. Like, hey, even though we don't have hard evidence, like this guy is a delinquent.
Everyone had assumed that the 3 students Sadu fought were normal kids.
Nah.
However, if they were troublemakers too, then that was a different story. As for the other 2, being basketball players meant they probably had good motor skills. Yet Sadu had turned the tables and
They have good motor skills because they're basketball, you know, players. So like, you know, they're not just regular students getting beat up.
beat them all without once being hit.
Exactly. Like this is a crazy 1v3 self-defense.
I couldn't help but feel there was something unnatural about that. Kanzaki-kun, what do you think? Perhaps they let
It's
Sadu
set
beat
up.
them up on
It's
purpose.
set up,
If the
yep.
3 of them had wanted to set a trap for Sadu,
Yep.
the story would make perfect sense. The connection seems natural. Yeah, I think so too. I knew you'd figure it out. Kanzaki-kun, great work. If we can verify this information, then we could be one step closer to proving Sadu-kun.
Damn, Kanzaki didn't get any credit in the season 1 of the anime for this shit. We didn't even know he had any participation here. He actually helped out.
Innocence. But what we have is still pretty weak, isn't it? Yeah, even if we manage to convince people with this new evidence, we're really only halfway.
You need
there.
hard proof.
The fact that it was such a one-sided fight definitely puts a lot of pressure on us. Sadu probably wouldn't want to shoulder some of the guilt alongside the others. Neither party wanted to be liable for this situation. If we got testimony from Class D, though, our chances would probably be 6-4, or maybe 7-3. No, we can't say anything yet. I concealed Sigura's name since we were still negotiating. I see. Is there some reason why? Since the whole Sigura situation was rather delicate, I avoided explaining in detail. After all, she might decide to quit after all, even on the day of the decision. I wanted to have an escape
Imagine
route.
she
There have
quits
been
on
no
that day.
reports of another witness, just as I thought. It would have been interesting if one had stepped forward, but I suppose it was tough. We're out of time. Our only choice now is to wait for more information from either the internet or the bulletin board, right? Is it okay to wait that long, though? I mean, those Class C guys might zero in on us. It'll be okay. Besides, both Class C and Class A originally targeted us. Anyway, Ayaki
What?
is right. Besides, even
See, this is more stuff I like to see. Class C and Class A attack Class B, and we didn't even know it was happening.
if you wanted to stick by the rules, everyone is acting out of bounds. I think it's okay to ask for forgiveness this time. Ayaki and Kanzaki made it pretty clear that they wanted to be fair and square when competing against the school and the other students. Anyway,
Fair and square is not gonna get you far in this
we'll
show.
have to transfer points over to anyone who provides us with information. Ah, but what if someone does so anonymously? In that case, how would we transfer over the points? We can tell you, if you'd like. Do you want me to?
Well, I thought transferring points, there's always a transaction record that people can kind of say publicly.
I said, do you know something, Ayanokuchi-kun? I just remembered something when I was messing around on my phone. Do you know the person's number? It's a toll-free number, but I remember it. Ayaki drew close and pointed at her phone. Being this near to somebody usually
2.6
makes people
million.
feel defenseless. I'd thought that a girl wouldn't want a man to be in her intimate space.
Wait.
And I didn't know exactly what
2.6
it was,
million.
But Ayaki had a pleasant scent about her.
He's smelling yucky nose.
Open up the points remittance screen. You should see your ID number in the upper left corner. As I instructed her, my heart rate began to skyrocket.
Focus!
Ayaki fingers were nimble. She pressed a button to open up her own points page. After
Yeah.
the page loaded, it was
2.6
displayed
mil.
on the screen. Yep. There it is. So what should I do now that I can see the ID number? From your ID number, you can issue a temporary token key. If you open that and send the key, you should get a request for payment.
We're using a proxy, using a temporary token instead of using your official ID, which kind of covers up the transaction. So there is a way to kind of lie about, you know, different ways of payment, huh? Interesting. I don't think they covered this in the anime at all.
See, thank you. Okay, let's go. Ayanokuchi-kun. Sure. Ayaki started walking. Just then, for a split second, I had seen something on Ayaki
2.6 million.
The fragment
2.6
of
mil.
screen I'd noticed it burned itself into my mind and wouldn't go away. What should I do? Was what I'd seen even possible? Ayaki
She flexed.
might prove a huge obstacle for Horikita in her quest to reach Class A 5.1. Good morning.
They won't even tell us about the 2.6 million. At least in the anime, they actually showed us her like actual phone with the figure of the number, but Here, they don't even tell us the fucking number. Interesting.
Ayano Kuchi-kun. Oh, hey, good morning. Kushida greeted me looking incredibly bright and energetic. I was taken aback by her radiance. Thanks for yesterday. You really saved me. Well, I suppose her dazzling face made me happy, but something else was bothering me that I couldn't remember. I'd gone
What?
on an outing for the first time, and it had been with girls like Kushida and Sigura. It was
Yeah.
almost too much.
Double date.
Well, I guess for the time being,
Bro is actually a ladies' man. He's hanging out with all the girls now.
things were great. Until Ike and Yamoki got to school. That was, if they heard about this, they'd definitely hold a serious grudge over it.
Skill issue. Blame yourselves. Grudge? Why are you holding a grudge on me? Hold a grudge on your dumbass selves for not able to get bitches, Yamoki and
Let's
Ike.
hang out again sometime, okay? Kushida said, sure. Even if she'd only said it to be polite, my heart thumped a little faster. Well, that wasn't a bad thing. Did you spend your day off with Kushida-san? An icy voice asked. Yeah,
Suzume.
I did. I answered quietly. Kushida wanted Sigura's cooperation, so she asked for my help. I didn't have much of a choice. I see. Was there something wrong with that? I looked over at my neighbor and saw an expression on Horikita's face that I'd never glimpsed before.
What?
What's the matter? I asked. What do you mean? Well, you just had this really weird look on your face.
What did she
Really?
make?
I didn't intend to make any kind of face. I
Did she smile for the first time? What kind of face did she make?
should look the same as I always do. However, I will say that I admire how freely you've been moving. When I ask you for help, you're often reluctant. But when Kushida-san asks,
Yeah, because you're a total bitch, Suzume. And you're flat. At least Kushida's stacked, even though she acts nice, even though she is the devil.
you accept readily. I was calmly and discreetly analyzing the difference between us. She did not remotely look calm and discreet. Just then, someone lightly tapped my shoulder and told me to go over and see Kushida. Horikita wore a tremendously puzzled expression as I went over to the hallway, where Kushida briefly peeked into the classroom. I have a feeling I just saw something really incredible, she said. Did Kushida understand the meaning behind Horikita's expression? She seemed both delighted and surprised. Something incredible? That's creepy. I think that Horikita was a little angry. That's not it. I think she feels alienated and lonely over not
Did Kushida get happy there that Suzume feels alienated and lonely?
being invited. Horikita? No way.
Is Kushida literally just kind of getting hyped on the side? She's like, oh, this is fucking hype. Fuck you, Suzume. I hope you feel bad that my man Ayano Kugi is hanging out with me and other characters.
She probably doesn't know how she feels. I'm sure she's probably noticed how much fun it is to spend time with friends and talk to them, though that's a good thing.
Is Suzume getting jealous a little bit?
A good thing. What a bizarre thought. Horikita didn't have a good opinion of Kushida. Even so, it was strange for Kushida to say that Horikita felt alienated over not being invited. Perhaps you're realizing something fundamental. Ayano Kuchi-kun. Horikita-san is upset that you didn't invite her to come along.
Yeah.
No, that couldn't be it.
I feel like she might be jealous. Even if we invited her, she wouldn't have come. But it's just the fact that we're doing other things without Suzume only anymore, like in Volume 1. Because now we're just kind of going off with other girls, and maybe Suzume is like, huh, you got some other bitches, I see. All right.
I mean, Horikita was a girl who loved solitude. After all, she wasn't supposed to enjoy
Yeah, like again, like she would never come out. It's just the fact that we're doing this shit that she feels a little bit jealous. Like, not that, like, even if we included you, you would say no.
Certainly not with a guy like me. In that moment, I had come to a rather baffling realization. 5.2. After homeroom finished for the day, we asked Chabashira-sensei to...
All right, we're on 5.2 right now, right?
5.
All right. Now, if that guy's still here, I will give him the Discord link because I did say I will post it at the very end. But if you're still here, here's the Discord. Now, ladies and gentlemen, well, that might be the end. I have something for you. Most of you probably already watched it, though. Ladies and gentlemen. 9 a.m. means that it's time for me to go to work. So I can continue to pay the bills. So I can continue to make anime content. Tonight, we're going to have Skimichi Moon Fantasy. We're going to have Spider Anime. And we're going to have Cautious Hero as well. With a little bit of snafu. But it's not over yet because I finally got approved to be able to release Solo Leveling. It's a combination of the things I said and perhaps Sung Jingwoo's dripping abs that prevented this video from being uploaded 2 days ago, but it is what it is. So please, go juice this video up. because my channel is fucking dying right now. God, like, I doubt that this video is gonna even make 1,000 views. Maybe it'll get a little bit over that, but I have no hopes for this. But at the very least, you guys are here. And the Twitch side is doing well too. So we'll build back up. So again, please go show this video some love. Just like how you showed me today. Until next time, guys. Take care. See you tonight on the Twitch side, okay? We're gonna watch again a lot more anime on that side, alright? Bye-bye.